Hi everyone, my name's Emily Febry. I'm also known as Ranger M. I'm an environmental communicator and educator, and I get to talk to a lot of different people about all things nature and conservation. I love to knowledge share, and that's what I want to do with you. So come on, let's go learn with Ranger M. Have you ever considered going into the environmental or conservation career sector? Well, this season I'm going to talk to several different young professionals who are taking different journeys and paths on their way to working in this field. They are going to give us the insider knowledge on different classes, different steps to take in post-secondary, and also their early career. Today I'm joined by two very special guests, Tess and Sarah, who are my oldest friends, and we're going to talk about the different paths we took, all in the environmental career sector. So come on, let's go catch up with Tess and Sarah. Thanks so much for joining me. You guys inspire me so much, and I love your journeys, so I really wanted to share them, and obviously love you guys, so chat about it, okay? I want to kind of dive into our education before we kind of get to your careers, but can you give us a brief intro of yourself, Tess, first?
I work right now for an environmental consulting company in British Columbia called Ecofish Research Limited. So we work for a variety of clients all throughout North America, really, mostly in BC. And I am an environmental field tech collecting field data on aquatics or wildlife terrestrial-based field work for these clients.
Very similar. I'm also living out in BC right now. I'm working for a different company, a smaller company called In-Stream Fisheries Research, and I am currently employed as a junior biologist. And mostly we just research sturgeon, trout, and Pacific salmon along the coast there.
So to give a little background, Tess, Sarah, and I all went to the same high school and elementary schools, but then kind of did our own little paths for university and then our careers as well. Tess, we'll start with you. Can you tell us a bit about your post-secondary education, where you went, what you took?
I went to Trent University in Peterborough, and I just took a general biology major, minoring in environmental science.
It was a 4-year program, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Sarah, where'd you go?
I did my undergraduate at Lakehead University in Thunder Bay, up on the north shore of Lake Superior. I did it as an honors Bachelor of Environmental Management with a specialization in wildlife conservation.
I love how I went a very different direction than you both, but I went out to the East Coast, and I swear my drive was the same as your drive.
Probably,
even though
yeah.
you're in the same province. So Tess, kind of what drove you to decide on Trent? Because I know you applied to several.
Yeah, we applied to some similar ones
yeah.
as well. Trent, I really liked because it was a bit of a smaller campus than other ones I was looking at. And it was kind of boasted being kind of in the woods. It was outside of Peterborough, which was also, I kind of really liked because it was a bit of a smaller town or city than other places. So I really liked that. They boasted a lot of hands-on outdoor kind of classes as well, which
is nice in the university spirit.
Yeah, because you don't get that a lot in universities, especially like in sciences. So I really enjoyed that as well. That's why I went to that.
Yeah. And Sarah, you kind of are always like around home, and then you decided, I'm gonna go one of the farthest universities in Ontario.
Yeah, that was a bit of a shocker for my parents, I think, from a child who would never want to go anywhere, going as far away as possible in the same province. I chose Lakehead because they had a really good hands-on factor with the university program. At that time, I thought the university program was, I really wanted that university degree. And also, additionally, Lakehead was kind of talked up to me by someone we looked up to, our teacher for our environmental leadership program in high school.
Yes.
So
looking back, would you guys, just based on our undergrads, would you guys still recommend people to do those programs? Would you recommend more of a college kind of path, or stick with like what you guys did?
Well, I loved Trent when I was there. So I would, like, if you're looking to go that route, if university is something that you want to do, I would recommend Trent. I had good experiences there. My professors were all really nice, and it was kind of outdoorsy, and the campus is beautiful. But now, having gone to college as well, I say go wherever your heart desires for that. Would also say that there was, if you're looking to go into like an environmental field, Trent offers the great like Fleming-Trent experience.
Yes, that's true.
And I know that a lot of the people who came to Trent after their 2 years at Fleming said they all loved Fleming more.
Wow.
Yeah.
When we were talking about talking to guidance counselors and stuff, there's kind of a big push to go to university. But my parents actually were like, well, why don't you go and apply to some colleges? And I was like, no, like university is what you're supposed to do in sciences. And I kind of felt like I was pushed that way. But then when I was in school, I was like, wow, what if I was doing kind of the college? And you have both insights, right? You went to Niagara College as well.
Yeah. See, I was opposite. My parents were always like, you need to go to university. That's the education you need to get. And I think it was because my dad went to college and he feels like he didn't get the education that would have allowed him to get further in his career if he went to university. And my mom didn't go to either. So I think that's why they really pushed university on us as kids. But looking back, I would have probably gone to college first and foremost and probably had a better time there. Because I did go back, I went to Niagara College, like you said, for an ecosystem restoration program. It was a 1-year postgraduate certificate, and I loved that experience. And I felt it was a lot more, even more hands-on learning, and I felt the skills that I was learning there, I could see directly applied to a job that I'd be getting. Whereas more, especially in the biology, it's more concept based, and I had a hard time applying that into what I wanted to do to life. Because I came out of university knowing less about what I wanted to do than going into university. Because I was like, there's so many options.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm good at yet.
Do you feel similar? Yours was you got to do a lot of field work.
I did get to do a lot of field work. But even then, my university also did have a program where you could have done 2 years of college and then joined my program in third and fourth year. I do feel like the students who chose that route had a better grasp of a lot of, base knowledge that we never got. Like Tess said, it was so high level in university.
Yeah. And I think it's a lot geared towards academia, like to stick into that route, to go to your master's, PhD, research level, which is like, I thought I wanted to go into research.
Sarah, of the three of us, you were the one that continued on into a master's. Can you tell us a bit about where you went and what your thesis was?
Yeah, I originally hadn't planned on going back for my master's. I had finished my undergraduate and I was like, that's enough schooling, I'm done. And I got a job. And then COVID hit and I was out of a job. And then I was like, well, what's the worst that could happen? So I started looking at schools, and I was actually a little jealous of Tess after she went back for her little certificate in ecological restoration. So I looked into a master's of ecological restoration, and I
got a one-upper.
Yeah, you're like, 1 year? No, I'll do 2.
I really did want to do something that was restorative. So I looked into getting a master's there, and I found this really cool program out in BC. It was a joint program between Simon Fraser University and the British Columbia Institute of Technology, which is more of a trade school, really. I applied, I got in, it was all great. It was a fantastic program, very hands-on, along similar routes. There was a lot of field school involved. I had to plan my own master's thesis and collect all the data and analyze it afterwards and do the defense. And yeah,
come on, tell us what kind of animal you worked with.
I did my research on western painted turtles in the Rocky Mountains, specifically near Cranbrook,
Man, that's
BC.
wild.
And it was just a phenomenal summer.
Just going to look for turtles.
Just go and look for turtles. I trapped turtles. I put little acoustic transmitters. I glued it on their shells. And then I would track those turtles using the telemetry to try to find out where they were nesting and kind of assess the predation of those nests.
So you both have left me in Ontario and are living it up in BC. But before leaving, you both did work here. So Sarah, can you tell us a bit about like your first kind of career after university, your undergrad?
Sure, yeah. Actually, my first job was with the Ontario Ministry of Natural Resources. I got a summer job between school years working as a forest health technician, which was a lot of fun. And then I got called back after my last year, and they offered me a chance to work on a project called the Great Lakes Shoreline Ecosystem Project. So what it entailed was us going to a whole bunch of different ecosystems within 2 kilometers of the Great Lakes shoreline and doing ecological land classification for the purpose of kind of ground truthing all of the ecosystems so that people who could aerial map it would know what they looked like from above.
Very cool.
So I worked on all 4 of the Great Lakes in Canada. So
okay.
spent a summer living in Sault Ste. Marie and worked on Lake Superior and Lake Huron. And then, yeah, all over Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. No Lake Michigan, of course, because it's not here in Canada.
Tess, you also worked in the government field. Tell us a bit.
Yeah, so I actually got the forest health assistant position. Was it the year or 2 years?
2 years
Two
before
years
me.
before Sarah did. I did it straight out of high school with the Ministry of Natural Resources in Elmer, and that was great. And then throughout university, I worked on a couple different like research labs at Trent, just assisting with master's students' research projects. And then I also went back and worked for the Ministry of Natural Resources for the Stewardship Youth Ranger program. Not Ranger Am, but
The actual Rangers.
the actual Rangers. Well, one of them, yeah. So that was a 12-week program catered towards high school students to kind of get them an understanding of what environmental jobs are out there. So we do a lot of work with the ministries and conservation authorities and non-for-profit organizations, and just trying to get as much experience as they can, and just to let them know what's out there if they want to go down that field.
And was that your last job with the?
No, from that, because that was kind of just like a summer program.
Yeah.
After university, I did that for a bit as well. And then from that, I got short contracts around there, like as a natural resource management technician. I worked at Algonquin Park for a bit of time as a clerk there.
I almost forgot about
And
that
then,
one.
yeah, just up there for a bit. And then I actually went back and became a forest health technician, kind of like the assistant job that we were doing before, but as the actual technician. And I did that for a year or 2 after the fact as well.
So tell me what drove you out west. Did you stay there right after your master's, Sarah? We'll start with you, I guess.
I moved out for my master's
Yeah.
and then, yeah, I stayed.
Yeah, you're like,
She's like, I need a roommate.
I was like, come live with me.
And I was like, I'm still finishing school.
but then you were able to find your current job.
Yeah, I moved to Squamish before I finished my program. I interviewed for my current job, and then I was still in school when I interviewed. I did my defense for my schooling, and then that very same day that I defended, they called me up and they offered me the job.
What a day.
What a day.
They planned it that way.
Oh, did they? Oh,
Yeah, my
that's
manager's
sweet.
like, she's defending on this day, so hold off, don't offer her the job until afterwards.
Oh, that's cute.
So.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Tess, what drove you out west?
The job, so yeah, most of my experience has thus far been with the government, and I kind of wanted to see what else was out there, what the other shoe was like working in private companies. So I've been looking around, wasn't really getting anywhere with it. And then my brother had moved out there a couple of years before, and I was out visiting them when I was on hiatus of my current position. And they're like, you should check out this company. It's a really cool company. So like while I was visiting them, I applied for Ecofish. And then I got the call that I got the job when I was driving back to Ontario because
Wow.
I was doing a road trip through the States and got the call in Colorado and got the job. So I drove quickly home, packed up, and then drove back to BC.
Wow. Hey, I'm back, but
Hey.
I'm leaving.
Yeah. Hello, goodbye.
That's awesome. I won't hold it against you guys that you've left me here in Ontario too much, but
I'm
I
still
love
trying to get
seeing
you.
your adventures. So, and I do come and visit. So, so we've all done something very similar but different at the same time. Do you guys? Sometimes I find that as a woman in the conservation world, the outdoor world, sometimes it's hard to kind of like assert myself in certain positions and careers and stuff. Do you ever find that at all?
I think in the beginning, there were a few moments when I was first starting out getting jobs where it was quite difficult. A lot of the current employees at most of the jobs were, you know, older gentlemen who had been in the jobs for years and years and years. And yes, it was a little difficult to, you know.
Intimidating as well.
It was very intimidating, yes. But at the same time, even when I first started university, and ever since then, most of the people who've seemed to have the most interest in this field, at this current time at least, have been women. And it's been a very clear, like, women-dominated in my classes that I've had so far. And even now, my current job, a lot of the best biologists we have are women. So I'm really happy with where I am. But yeah, I have had a few experiences early on where I was potentially the person who was, you know, in charge in the room, and then meeting people who were looking to my male coworkers for answers when they had no idea.
I think we've been pretty lucky to have good female role models in our field. Like both of our supervisors in the forest health.
Yes.
Rebecca was great. And yeah, my current job there, it's very female dominated, which is great to see. And even more so, like, I feel like there's been a lot of females kind of coworkers in your fields. Now I'm starting to see more as leaders and managers in the higher up positions, which is great to see, and have that kind of support and role model there as well. So it's definitely been getting better, I think. In our field.
I was talking with someone else about like imposter syndrome, and I feel like maybe that's like connected in some way. But I bring in like the idea that like even outside of my conservation job, when I was firefighting, like that's very male dominated too. And I'm just like, maybe that kind of was the imposter syndrome and is coming over into my other job, because I feel like the conservation world is very open to women coming in.
It really is.
I agree with you. I have found a huge switch not lately, but of women really coming into it. And I was actually doing field work with my job at St. Clair, and there was like 6 of us ladies and then our one male counterpart, and he's like, it's just Craig and the ladies. But it's like, we're doing all this amazing work. Women are really coming into it. I think the educational opportunities are really there as well. More opportunities for like internships and stuff like that.
So I think the hardest part is actually working with people outside of your company or where you work. Like I work a lot in the industry fields, and so going into like construction sectors and things like that, that's been the most difficult, because they're mostly male dominated there, and then you're coming in and trying to give direction or instructions, and they definitely, I feel like, still look to male counterparts in that, but yeah, for the most part it's getting better.
I am going to do a rapid fire round with you guys, okay? Just quick, fun questions.
Let's go.
Okay. Since we've all worked with them, what is your favorite reptile and or amphibian?
Can I pick a group? Salamanders?
Very well then. That's fine.
Or if I had to pick, maybe skinks, the 5-line skink.
Okay.
I've done some like hoverboard surveys with them.
I remember that.
They're pretty cool.
Yes.
They're only
Ontario's
lizard.
only lizard.
Yeah, so they're really cool.
I really wanted to say turtles, but I have had such a huge love for snakes for so long. So while I love Western painted turtles, because they're just the sassiest little animals ever, I do think I like snakes more. I do really enjoy rattlesnakes, but I mean, I don't want to steal Emily's hognose snake.
I'll share. I
can all have it.
The hoggy.
Not the fox
It's
snake?
just the fox snake is so cute too.
What is your favorite overall animal, period?
Fox.
I did know that.
So simple.
Bears.
If you can think of it, what was your favorite class you took in post-secondary?
Herpetology is the most fun.
Ooh, it was
Like,
a good one,
you
yeah.
just like handle amphibians and reptiles, and then you just like learn all about the different ones. It was, that's.
I'll go for a different option. In my master's, I took a limnology course, which
that's
is the
cool
study
too.
of freshwater lakes and the geology and hydrology of how they function. And I probably enjoyed it the most because I went into it with very little knowledge and I came out just bursting with information that I never thought I'd ever have.
Who is your biggest role model?
You. I'm like, I was thinking about that, and I'm like, but I was like, who's my biggest role model? I wanted to choose a female, and you are like, you inspire me every day with you doing all of this and your career, and you're just like always putting yourself out there.
Oh, I should have
Love
gone
you.
first, a little less sentimental.
It's okay.
I didn't want you to steal it.
Oh, I would never. No, mine has
I would
ever
never say
since,
Emily.
yeah,
No, sorry, I'm just joking.
prior to university, prior to anything, it's always been my dad.
Oh.
I mean, yeah,
we
he's a.
love Brad.
We love Brad.
Aw.
I don't know. I grew up on a farm,
Yes.
but he's always been very interested in, you know, bettering his land and all of the forests that we have there.
I have never
And I cannot talk continuing without getting emotional, so we're just going to cut it off right there.
What's your favorite province, Ontario or British Columbia?
Everybody asks us that, whether we like BC or Ontario more,
I love both for different reasons.
right? That's always
Again,
my
with the
answer.
cop-outs, it's fine.
I mean, like, I feel like the easy answer is to say BC because it's just so beautiful. And I find it's just like so diverse between the mountains and the grasslands and the alpine and the oceans. Like, there's so much to study and so much to like explore there. But its beauty there is more in your face.
That's what I was going to
Yeah, Ontario is more subtle, but there's still so many cool hidden gems here and things that I've missed. Like I miss the deciduous forest here, especially the Carolinian life zone.
Yeah.
It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, 100%.
I think everything that Tess just said was everything that I thought prior to answering that question. So,
Fine, I'll let that go.
thank you.
What would be your top tip or words of wisdom to share with a young professional or someone going into post-secondary?
I do think going through like a college/university combined option is probably the best way to get all of your bases covered and get a good start. Because a lot of the starting positions for jobs nowadays, most of the info that's going to be useful to you comes from college. But if you want to move up in the world, that university degree is really helpful if you want to get higher and higher in the company, say, you know, through biology and you want to become a biologist.
Also, the ability to get a diploma and a degree in 4 years is just like really amazing.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, wait, I had to go through 4 years of just one
To get a degree? Yeah.
So I guess if you want the education, I would say like volunteer work does make a difference. Like that work experience. I know it's hard to get and have that filled out on your resume when you just start out, but like we did so much volunteer work when we were young, and like just with the conservation authorities, like they're always willing to take people to help out with things.
And it's just fun.
And
It
it's
is
just fun.
It's a lot of fun.
That is the end of my rapid fire. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
I feel like I probably kind of made you because you're my friends, but
It's been a few
you guys
years
are so
coming.
inspiring. Yes, it has been. I've talked to you guys forever. I'm like, I need to talk to you guys about your careers. So thank you so much.
Thank you.